Man, I'm not gonna tell y'all again. Man, get this dude out my cell before I do something. Get him out my cell before I kill him. Why would y'all put this gay dude in my cell?
Oh, shit. Here we go again.
All right, y'all. This prison story is about how gay Peanut got turned out in prison. Now, I told y'all a couple of stories about Peanut in the past. So for those that don't know who Peanut is, let me re-jog your memory. Now, my very first interaction with Peanut, now this is Peanut from Detroit. This is not Peanut from Flint, Michigan that I told y'all about. This is a different Peanut. So anyway, my first interaction with Peanut was, unfortunately, dealing with the prison shower. Now, they assigned me to be a porter. And for those that don't know what a porter is, in prison, the porter is the person that basically monitors everybody that goes into the bathroom or the shower. Now, I'm not in the shower with them. I'm outside of the bathroom. Now, there's a desk that sits right there at the entrance, okay? And once you go in the bathroom, if you go to the left, that's where the toilets and the sinks is at. But if you go to the right, that's where the showers is at. Now, we recently had a whole bunch of assaults popping off in the bathroom. So the warden felt like, hey, we need somebody to monitor everybody that's going in here. Just write the person name down that's going in there and just keep a log. So they end up having me to do it. Okay, so my first interaction with Peanut is when he came in there, and it was around 7:30 in the morning. And usually there's a line to get to the shower or whatever. Cool, whatever. But Peanut, being who Peanut was, he decided to just skip the line, because the rule is this: if you in the shower and a gay guy goes into the shower, you got to come out of there. You just got to get out of there, because if you don't, that's how rumors start. That's how people will try to throw something on you. And no, they won't say it out loud, but you know, cats will be whispering. They're like, oh, Jerome was in there with Peanut and he ain't leave out the shower, you know, and I think they probably did something, you know, just somebody could just blatantly lie on you, right? So anyway, Peanut just skipped the line, and I mean, who's really gonna tell him like, hey, yo, you know, because don't nobody like to deal with these type of people, whatever. But the funny thing about that is a lot of these dudes that be super homophobic or trying to put out like they ain't, like they hate gay people, whatever, they really indulge in it. They just don't like to, I don't know. But anyway, so nevertheless, I'm sitting there and Peanut roll up and he just skipped the line. And I was like, hey, you know, there's a line, man. You got to get a line. And he was like, man, whatever. And he just walked in. So I'm like, okay, maybe he going to the bathroom, but I seen him bust that right and he went to the shower. But he had all his clothes on. So I'm confused. So I'm like, why would he go in there with all his clothes on? So I'm like, all right, whatever. So then I hear, oh, hell no. Oh, hell no. Right? And I see this dude walk out. I forgot his name or whatever, but he walked out with his towel. He was like, man, this some bullshit, man. I hate it here. I hate it here, man. So I'm like, what's going on? He was like, man, that gay muff gonna come up in there, man. And man, I hate it here. So I get up, and right before I go in there, I see him. I see Peanut in a nude in 4K, but he's walking towards me. No towel, no clothes on, no nothing. Peanut decides to strip naked and walk out the shower. and come into the dormitory and flaw this around and go to his cell. Now, I told y'all, I'm just giving y'all the quick version of me, ever dealing with Peanut, because it's going to lead to, the story or whatever. So anyway, Peanut got rolled up. Dudes were trying to fight him and like that or whatever. But that was like my first time ever dealing with him. So let's fast forward to 2 years later. So now I'm in the cell by myself, and typically these are 2-man cells. So I knew eventually I was gonna get a new cellmate or whatever, so I really wasn't tripping. So it was probably around midnight, 12:30. I just ate me a swole, right? And I'm sleepy, man. I got the itis, man. So I hear my door pop. And when I heard that, I instantly rolled to the side and grabbed that sword of justice, but I didn't, have it out in the open. I got it at a certain spot, but thank God I just didn't bounce off the bed and get into going to work like Wolverine, right? Because the guards was right there. So when I noticed the guards was right there, I'm like, what's up, y'all? They was like, you got a new cellie. So I'm like, do I got to get up? It was like, nah, man, you cool, you straight. Now I know y'all wondering, like, Dante, why did you ask them, do you have to get up? Because that's protocol. If you get in a new cellie or whatever, you got to get handcuffed or whatever, and to that person get in the cell, and then they'll unhandcuff you, whatever. But, it's late. They know I'm cool, whatever. So Peanut walk in. Now, at this time, y'all, I'm groggy, right? I'm not all the way there. I seen when he walked in, but I didn't know that, this was Peanut, like Peanut, because I didn't see this dude for years. So when he came in, I said, what's up, bro? And as soon as he spoke, I knew something was wrong. I knew something was off. Y'all know the type that, they change their voice to sound like a woman or whatever. When I heard that, red flags. So I jumped up. I said, this ain't gonna work. So I get up on the door, and there was a guard, like maybe 2 cells away from me, talking to somebody. I said, hey man, y'all got to get him, man. No, this ain't gonna happen. So the guard come out. He like, what's going on? I said, man, why y'all put this dude in my cell, man? So Peanut was like, man, I ain't got time for this, man. I ain't got time for this. I said, I know you don't, but hold up. I said, hey, man, he got to go, man. He can't be in a cell with me, man. Put him somewhere else. So the guard was like, nah, man, this prison, man, you don't dictate where he go, man. You want to go to the hole? I said, no, but come on, man. Y'all know how it is, man. Don't do that to me, man. Don't do me like this, man. So Peanut was like, do you like what? Do you like what? I don't even like you. I don't even like you. I'm not attracted to you. Is you gay or something? I said, hey, look, stop talking to me, man. He was like, no, I ain't got to stop talking about nothing. I ain't got to stop talking about nothing. He got the roll in his neck, and y'all know how they do it. Y'all know. So the girl like, listen, either he gonna stay in here with you, or you going to the hole. Now, I just left the hole, y'all. I just left the hole. And, you can't get on the phone. You only can shower once a week. The food they give you is bullshit. Like, it's unfit for human consumption, right? And it's just terrible back there. It's cold. So I'm like, man, F. I said, all right, man, whatever. Right? So that was my second interaction with Peanut. Now we about to get to the story. So now it's like, when I got released back in, what was it? 15. Yeah, I got released in 2015, right? And when I got out, I went straight to Flint, Michigan. And I stayed in Flint for maybe a year. And then in 2016, that's when I moved to Columbus, Ohio for about 7 years. But anyway, I end up running into Peanut. I end up running into Gay Peanut. So we at the fair, right? The Ohio State Fair. I got a video. I'm gonna show y'all the video of me on a bull ride. But anyway, we at the Ohio State Fair, and it's me, my wife, and 3 of my kids at the time. You know, we doing what we doing or whatever. And I see this guy, you know, standing afar, you know, just staring like beeline, looking straight at me. And I'm wondering, like, why is this dude, do I know you or whatever, right? So I noticed every time I hit a corner or go somewhere, he's right there. So I'm thinking like, okay, I don't know if I did something to this dude and he trying to get his get back. I don't know, do this dude think he know me but don't really know me? Like, you know, because I'm new to Columbus. I don't really know nobody like that, whatever. So I said, all right, I'm going to go ahead and handle this right now. So they had this stand, this lemonade stand or whatever. And my wife then was over there. It's this glider thing that go around the whole park. So they got on there, whatever. And I stayed at the bottom. I said, I'm going to meet y'all at the end or whatever. So that was a ploy for me to, you know, double back and go around the lemonade stand and catch him, right? So nevertheless, I enact my plan. So he walked past the lemonade stand and I'm already behind the lemonade stand. And I just run up on him. I'm like, hey, what's up with you, man? Why you following me? And he turned around. He was like, oh, man, that's, Now, when I got close on him, I knew exactly who he was. Exactly who he was. It was Gay Peanut. And he was like, oh, no, man, I thought that was you. I thought that was you, Dante. I said, yeah, what's up, man? He was like, shoot, man, how long you been out? I said, I've been out a couple years now. And he was like, oh, okay, man, how's life treating you? I was like, it's good, but can I help you with something? He was like, oh no, man, it's just good to see a familiar face, man. You know, I've been down on my luck or whatever, and it's just good to see a familiar face. Now, I'm gonna tell y'all something. Me and Peanut was not cool in prison. The longest me and Peanut ever been around each other, like in close quarters, was that one night, right? And then the next morning, he ended up getting moved because I guess his man wanted him over in his unit or whatever, and he got moved. So I probably spent maybe 7 hours with Peanut, and most of the time I was asleep, right? So we really didn't have no interactions, you know, and besides what happened when he came out the shower naked and caused a damn riot up in the unit or whatever. But we ain't never talked, like, you know what I'm saying? Enough for him to be out here telling me, like, you know, he just wanted to talk like we was best prison buddies or something. So I'm like, what's up, man? He was like, man, it's been hard for me, man. It's good that I see that you got a girl. I said, yeah, that's my wife. He was like, and then your kids. I said, yeah. He said, it's good to see you doing good, bro. But I'm not doing too well out here, man. I said, oh, what's going on? He was like, man, I might be going back to prison. I was like, for what? What's talk to me? What's up? What's going on? He was like, man, I couldn't get no job, man, and you know, besides me being gay or whatever, I just been real depressed or whatever. I said, hey, let me ask you a question, Peanut. Let me ask you a question. How did you end up like this? He was like, you really want to know? I said, yeah. How did you end up like this or whatever. He was like, I'll tell you what, buy me a corn dog and some elephant ears and a Pepsi, and I'll tell you the whole story. I said, all right, bet. Right? So my wife and kids pull up, and she was like, oh, who is this guy? I said, this a guy I was locked up with. And he was like, now, Peanut knew how to turn the gay off and turn it back on. Right? So he talked to her like a man. He said, yeah, his voice got a little deeper or whatever. He straightened up. He was like, yeah, I was locked up with him, and he a good dude, real solid dude or whatever. She was like, oh, okay. So my wife was like, hey, I need some more money right quick. So I gave her about $200, whatever. She took the kids and they went off, right? So after I got him the Pepsi, the corn dog, and the elephant ears, we sat down at the bench and I asked him, like, so what happened? Before we go on, let me ask y'all a question real quick. For those that had elephant ears, what do y'all like on y'all elephant ears? Me, I like the strawberries, the strawberry jam and the strawberries on it with whipped cream. Y'all tell me what y'all like. I think next year, I'm going to try all the different flavors. And for those that don't know what elephant ears is, it's like this doughy type of donut type of thing that they put toppings and white powder on it or whatever, chocolate syrup on it. It's really good, whatever. So we sit down or whatever, and we sitting there talking. So he tell me, like, he said, well, this is how it started. I wasn't, of course, born this way. He said that his mama was a prostitute, basically, and he'd be with her all the time. When she'd be like, dudes would come to the house, she'd be out on the street and just prostituting. And he said one day when he was like 6 years old, they go to a hotel, and there was two men that wanted to mess around with her. So she ended up putting him out the room. So he said that he's sitting outside the room while his mama is, taking care of her business, whatever. And he said this old white man, he pulls up on him and he like, hey, you want some candy or whatever? And he said at this time, he was probably around like 7 or 8 years old or whatever. So he said he don't know no better. So he said he go to the car and the white man grab him and, he take him around the corner, whatever. And unfortunately, he does the unthinkable to him. So I said, damn. So he was like, when it happened, he just pushed me out the car and just left me there. He just took off. And, I just walked back to the hotel and sat outside the room and I was just crying or whatever. And, my mama, she wasn't the best mama at all. She was drunk and, the guys left out the room and I just went in there and, my mama was passed out asleep and I just got into bed with her and, fell asleep crying or whatever. So when that happened, I was just messed up. So throughout the years or whatever, I guess my mama was my only example. And I started, prostituting too. My mama out here, she teaching me the game and, that already happened to me. So, that's what happened. I said, hold up. So you mean to tell me your mom was in there getting her back blowed out by two men, some old white dude entice you with candy, violate you, and that's how that happened? It was like, yeah. I mean, like I said, I wasn't born gay or whatever. I did that. That's just what happened to me. I said, damn. So he was like, well, you know how the street life goes. You got people that want to play you. It was this guy, one of my regular customers or whatever. he just was just doing too much one day, and he didn't want to pay me. And I end up, stabbing him a couple of times, whatever, but he ain't died, so that's how I got locked up. I said, damn. I said, oh, okay, so what's going on now? Like, why you think you might be going back to prison? He was like, man, look, I've been out for a minute, and like I said, I can't find no employment. I ain't gonna lie, Dante, man, I'm messed up. I'm really messed up, man. And I got 2 years left of my parole, but it's about to get cold out here soon, and I ain't got nowhere to go, man. I've been homeless, man. I said, well, where was you paroled at? He was like, well, I was paroled at my auntie house, but she never wanted me there anyway because of who I am or whatever. But I needed somewhere to parole at. But man, I've been back doing what I used to do, and I'm afraid. I said, you afraid of what, man? He was like, man, there's a guy that I did something with at the hotel about a week ago when he was just a real disgusting guy, real disgusting dude, man. And I ended up putting something in his drink and to knock him out and just take the money. That's what I've been doing lately. Because I don't want to be this way, man. So if a guy get in contact with me or whatever, and we meet up, I put something in his drink and I just take, his money and go. Well, this guy, I heard he ended up dying. I said, what? He said, yeah, dude, he died or whatever. And I said, damn, Peanut. He was like, yeah, so I could be potentially be going to prison for the rest of my life. But I mean, to be honest, it's really, I kind of felt better being there than out here, because it's hard out here, man. I said, well, I pray for you, man. I hope things get better for you, but I'm gonna holler at you later, man. And he was like, all right. So when I get up from the table to walk off, he said, hey, Dante. I said, what's up, man? He said, can you pray for me for real? Is you really gonna pray for me? I said, you know what? Yeah, I'm gonna pray for you. I'll pray for you. Y'all make sure y'all subscribe to my movie and my gaming channel. I'm going to have that link pinned at the top of the comment section. Also, y'all subscribe to Stacy's Storytime. She's tell phenomenal stories just like myself. And if y'all feeling generous, make sure y'all leave me a tip. I'm accepting Cash App, Zelle, and PayPal. Until next time, y'all take care. I'm gone.